attribute of the brain when the brain gets into this kind of traumatized state of fight or flight or freeze. And so that fight, flight, or freeze area of the brain is generally the hippocampus and the part of the brain that's very primitive. And it often, these particular behaviors get wired in to that primitive brain. And it may be in response to a threat that's real or unreal. And oftentimes, especially in younger children, we don't know how they're perceiving the world through their eyes. And, they, may be sensitive. We have no idea how things may be affecting them. And this is never to put any blame. But the whole point of this is that, we're very much organic composition. And in that composition, as influences and things come in from the outside world into our sensory being, we process them differently, each and every one of us. And a lot of that will have to do with the resilience, really, of the prefrontal brain to interpret these stimuli coming in. However, when you're young, you don't have that prefrontal cortex developed. And that prefrontal cortex is developing. But if there's a lot of different things that impede that development, then there could be a tendency of that brain to go into that sort of hypervigilant fight, flight, or freeze state in response to stimuli, just because it doesn't know what those stimuli, that they're safe or whatever. So in a very non-professional, I'm not a neurologist or a scientist in this regard. I'm just a practitioner, but I've had PTSD. I've worked with lots of people that have different various, kind of outward expressions of a brain that's in fight, flight, or freeze. So for me and for all those people and for the research that we do know exists around mindfulness, we know it really helps and it can be an incredible tool. And like any tool, it's really finding the right tool that works for you. So for everybody, it's going to be just a little bit different, and that's okay. But the basic parameters in mindfulness are, first of all, loving kindness, really coming into the practice with the sense that I'm befriending myself here. I'm doing something for me that that ultimately will liberate me from reacting and responding in ways that do not benefit me, or maybe other people as well, but mostly me. So that's really the lens that we're looking through in the greater trajectory of mindfulness. And then we maintain this moment-to-moment awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, and our body sensations. And in that awareness, we start to bring this compassion and this sense of non-judgment about these different states that we are noticing. And that's really the pivotal piece right there, is really noticing and then being accepting of them and not trying to change them, but really rather giving them some of that loving kindness, holding space for them to perhaps inform the system, and also letting the system inform some of these mental states that actually there's no need to be in fight, flight, or freeze. We're actually safe and we're okay. So I thought that would be worthwhile just kind of going over. And I did say I was going to give you a quote. Here it is. It's kind of, academic, but the persistent and often conflicting demands of daily life lead to anxiety, stress, and tension. And mindfulness is useful to enhance mental clarity and performance, to reduce or release stress, anxiety, and the sort of the physiological problems that creates, which is the release of cortisol and adrenals and all that type of stuff. It helps to lower the blood pressure. It delivers more aliveness and clarity, and also compassion to the whole being through this action of just holding space in kind, loving awareness of what is. And it also leads to being more relaxed and balanced. So you can't really argue with that in my mind. So this serves, further to this quote, mindfulness serves as a telescope through which we select, bring into focus, and magnify the stimuli that we experience in the world. And through that, we are able to affect our attention, and both attention and your affect have a bidirectional relationship. So what that means is that what you think is often kind of what your body will respond with. And so what we're doing is we're allowing ourselves to kind of interject into that thinking thought pattern so that we can also help to ameliorate the body responses of that fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's do what I like to do when we take in a lot of information, and it's really a mindful thing. And we'll just rub our hands briskly together. And then allow if you're able, the right hand to just sit at the back of the skull at the occiput, and the right or the left hand to come right onto the space between the brows, kind of driving back into the center of the brain where the corpus callosum is, and just relaxing and accepting and acknowledging that all that information is landing and that you can receive it in the full clarity to the amount that you need it. Good. And then releasing your hands and just allowing your arms perhaps to go into a nice shoulder roll backwards. And we'll just roll the shoulders back. And you can let the chin kind of tuck down and whatever feels natural to you in that movement. Good. And then hold the shoulders up a little bit in toward the ears, and then press the upper arm bones back and relax the arms down. Good. And then allow your hands to kindly and receptively rest on your lap. And close your eyes. And if you're not closing your eyes, I really invite you to, just so you can quieten the mind, to let your gaze fall downward and slightly broad so that you're kind of taking the whole view in. You're not focused on one thing. And allow your eyes, if they're closed or relaxed downward, to draw your attention inward now. And allow yourself to move into your inner landscape. And at first, with just kind, compassionate observation, allowing yourself to take in the landscape, just as you would if you just drove up to the edge of the beach and the ocean's wide and broad out in front of you, and just look at the landscape inside of you. Notice the thought space that you're in right now and acknowledge it. Notice the feeling state that you're in right now and kindly observe that. And notice your bodily state right now. And with that same kind, impartial observation, take note of where there's tension, where there may be a nice, easy place to tune into. Perhaps the facial muscles you can soften and relax. And then allow yourself to, with all of that awareness, bring that focal point toward your breath. And take a couple nice full breaths with me. Exhaling completely. And again, this next breath. And then on your own, a couple more breaths. Full, filling the belly. And in the exhales, feeling the release as an invitation to continue to relax and to allow your attention to be drawn into the weight of your body and the allowing of that release of your exhale. And taking a couple more breaths now in your natural rhythm. So no full breath. Just let your breath return to its normal, beautiful, somewhat unconscious rhythm, but we're being conscious of it. And just notice how it quietens down. Notice what it does. It may not quieten for you, but allow yourself to observe the breath movement as a continual cycle of inhale, pause, exhale, pause, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And attune to the fact that the breath has very, very different rhythms for various different purposes. And in this particular space and time, you're allowing yourself to notice the rhythm right now and the quality. And then allowing yourself to move to your sensory body. And again, feeling, first of all, the gravity of the weight of your body. Excuse me. And also notice the shape of your body from your inner eye. Can you feel where you are in your chair? Do you remember where you are in the room? Can you connect the breath and the body together now? And notice on the exhales that the body does this let down response. And on the inhales, we can often feel this sort of inspiration of expansion. And just noticing, if none of this is true for you, that's okay. What's true for you is what you notice. And as the sensory body continues to give you information, feel into the insides of your palms of your hands and relax them. Feel into the navel. And as it expands and releases with each breath, just noticing that movement. Feel into the space between your brows and broaden it, allowing the forehead as well to broaden like you're spreading butter on toast, releasing the brow up towards the skull and letting the brain rest and release just a little bit away from the skull, relaxing the mind from thinking and doing, and reminding the mind and the thought process that there's no need to solve anything right now. There's just a real innate desire of your being to be still and to connect to your core, connecting here to this deep place where you hold all in acceptance and loving kindness. And continue to feel that spaciousness that you felt on the brow as you kind of spread the butter. Feel that spaciousness at the back of the throat as it just gently opens. And also feel like the palate on the roof of the mouth, where the tongue rests right now, ideally, can just release and soften. And that also can soften into the insides of your cheeks, releasing that tension in the jaw. And that might feel like a yawn. Might feel good to do that, responding to the body in this moment. And then for a moment, just noticing the thoughts wherever you are, and allow yourself to imagine that you can put your thoughts in a thought bubble. So just like a cartoon comic where we've got the bubble above the head, let your thoughts be in the bubble. Whatever time, whenever a thought arises, just place it up in the bubble. And if that's a good way for you to just allow some thoughts that you don't really want to attend to right now or that aren't important, because there's nothing that important right now, just place it in the bubble. And then moving back into your inner awareness, allowing a sense of spaciousness in that place that you occupy behind your eyes. And perhaps you can even visualize in that space behind your eyes this beautiful horizon of the ocean. And as you look into that space that you occupy behind your eyes, feel like that horizon is this limitless spaciousness quality that's also part of you. And continuing to attend in a very kind, gentle, impartial way to all of the nuances of your thoughts, of your emotions or feelings, and of your sensations. And allowing yourself to feel and recognize it all right now. And there may be a lot going on for some of us in this inner space, and that's okay. A lot of us have very busy minds that it's even hard to find stillness, and that's okay. This is a learning process where we cultivate, just like we would in a garden, the soil of attention, the soil of loving kindness, and the soil of allowing this deeply grounded place of stability and clarity that's beyond thought, beyond feeling, and beyond emotion to be the what is that we're after right now. Yeah. We can spend lots of times in thought, and we can spend a lot of time sometimes in emotionality, but we often don't spend a lot of time just feeling what is and attending. So in the last few minutes, allow yourself to just, with your own way of attending, kindly and deeply rest in this deep essential self that you are. And observing with that impartial, loving awareness, continuing to just allow the stillness to hold you in this nurturing place. Feel the support of the life force around you right now. Quietly bringing the mind back, putting thoughts into the bubble, feeling all that is, noticing kind, loving kindness, holding that space for everything that you are. Softening the outer corners of the eyes, the inside of the mouth, attending with that beautiful attention, looking at all that is. You're doing really well. And we're doing a little longer session today. And just stay with it. Allow yourself to feel like you've made incredible progress, and holding that space for just a little longer. And as we begin to allow that outer world to come back toward us, before we do so, I'd just like to invite you today to just feel like we're being held in this incredible space and time. And in this moment, feel into the gratitude that you may have in your life for how you're supported in being here right now. And whatever that may look like for you, just noticing if you feel toward gratitude, toward where you are right now, and all of the events and places and people that have provided support to be able to allow you to be where you are right now. In a generalized way. And with that sense of gratitude and sense of support that the universe supports you, all of us really, and that support is, again, also non-judgmental, impartial, and always available, just like your kind, loving attention. And as you come back into this outside world where all the many attributes of our thought process need to be engaged, Allow yourself to come back into the room gently, slowly, and with care. I don't know if any of you have dogs, but Julie always comes out here when we do mindfulness. And sometimes she's, she likes to get right in, but she generally just, settles right in there and does the whole session. And I'm often amazed at how dogs teach us things. And I think their capacity to be in the moment is quite remarkable. They're really into their feeling and they're in the now moment kind of state. So if you have a little animal, that's a great example. And as we kind of wind into the last few minutes, if there's any questions or comments. Yeah, hi, Kim.
Hi there. Thank you, Mary Jo, and nice to see everybody. I have a question about the fitness challenge. Is it too late to join? The 30 days?
You've got what you got a day of grace. We week, so yeah, I'd love to have you there.
Thank you. You and Megan are a dynamic duo, that's for sure.
Great gal, and yeah. You're welcome to join. Right? Yeah. Any other questions, comments? How did that feel going a little longer? I'm curious.
Hey, Mary, I was going to say it actually, I think that you could get into it deeper with the longer, like it's just, I think more deeper than surface, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It's a while for the nervous system to do that. I call it the letdown effect, just from being a mother and nursing. But it's the same hormone, the oxytocin is, or not oxytocin. You know what I mean? That really good hormone that allows us to relax comes in eventually, but we need to cultivate that slowed down or sympathetic vigilant state to get at that. So good reflection. Yeah. And we'll do them continually long, like we'll keep it at this time now. Today we did, it was just 10 minutes of actual, once I got you kind of set up into, doing all the kind of the letdown stuff, and then into the kind of space where I let you I gave you more space. That actual time was 10 minutes, just under 9 minutes. So good job. That's the longest we've actually done so far in that particular aspect of mindfulness. So
I have a little reflection or something that I just kind of noticed by leaving my video screen on, made me more accountable to pay attention to what was going on than when you turn your screen off. So maybe that's something that might be discussed with people, because when your screen is off and nobody can see you, you can be like looking out the window and not checking in, right? So
that's a really great point.
I absolutely agree with Delene, because two reasons, not just that I think we all pay better attention when our screens are on, regardless of what meeting or group we're with. But I also, when I can see people, I can also sort of feel them more, like kind of, put a face to a feeling, so to speak. I just can feel the energy more, but I understand that not everybody feels like that.
Yeah, no, really good points too. And I think the aspect of being accountable is really wonderful, that it works just to what you were saying too, Kim, that when we're doing it together, we feel the energy of us all being accountable together, which is, I think, a really positive thing as well.
Just one quick question or comment. Is it normal to, like, when you're in that deep mindfulness set, just to feel like tingling in your body?
Tingling is a really important, yeah, all of these sensations that come forward.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They're types of releases.
Okay.
I was doing the tingling today too, Carrie. So
Yeah.
it's normal.
It's a nice feeling.
Great question. Yeah. And tingling is your nervous system. So the fact that you're feeling that is really, remarkable that you're, paying that close of attention. That's a real, way to go.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up. If there's no further questions, I will see you in 2 weeks. And let everybody else know that they can come to Mindfulness on Wednesdays.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Be well, everybody. Take good care. And be kind to yourself.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mary Jo.
And I'll see you in a bit. Thanks, Barry.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye, Barry.
Bye, Dylan. Have a good one.
You too.
Stay warm.
Trying. Take care.